So we are going to calculate the mean by step deviation method, and we will give you only the basic working out without any complication, no explanation, no extra explanation. The step by step what you have to do, just understand the procedure one by one. So supposing this is the table, marks and frequency. Marks 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, and the frequency to 715. So what is the first step? First of all, you have to make an extra column for class mark. Above the frequency, you have to make an extra column for class mark. And what is class mark? The midpoint. 0 to 10. What is the midpoint? 0 plus 10 divided by 2. That is 5. 10 to 20. What is the midpoint? Class mark 10 plus 20, 30 by 2, 15. 20 to 30. What is the class mark? 20 plus 30, 50 divided by 2, 25. Actually, you don't have to calculate for all the range. Once you know 5 and 15, the difference is 10. So the difference will always be 10. First you got 5, next you got 10. The difference is 10. First is 5 and next is 15. The difference is 10. So the difference will continue to be 10. 5, 15, 25, 35, 45, 55. So it will continue to be 10. Whatever is a common difference, that is what we call AP. In an AP series, you will get 5, 15, 25. So the common difference should be always 10. So once you calculate 5 and 15, even without calculating, 15 plus 10, 25, 25 plus 10, 35, 35 plus 10, 45, you can go on writing. So we have added the extra column, that is class mark. So we have got marks. Now the first column actually we do not need, that 0 to 10, 10 to 20, actually we don't need. Anyway, we will keep it, but actually once you have found the class mark, the midpoint, actually the first row, or if you write it vertically, the first column, this one we do not need. The marks we do not need. We only need the class mark, frequency, and some extra columns. So the first thing is add one extra column or row, that is one extra field, that is class mark, that is the midpoint. That is midpoint, and see that the midpoint should be in AP. Then we shall do step number 2. This is what we got. Always on the top we will show what we have already got, and in the bottom the extra thing we will do. So this we already got. We have calculated the class mark or the midpoint. Now step number 2, take any of the values as assumed mean. Usually we take it in the middle approximately, or the one with the highest frequency, but actually you can take it anywhere. Anywhere you can take assumed mean. So in this case we have taken this 25 class mark as the assumed mean. We have taken, you could have taken anywhere, but we have taken class mark 25 as assumed mean, and that we have marked it. So the assumed mean has been taken at this point, although as I said you can take it anywhere. Now assumed mean we have marked. That is step 2. Now let us see what is the next step. Already marked the assumed mean. Now what you have to do is, this is important, step deviation. Now add one more field, one more row or one more column, that depends on whether you are writing horizontally or vertically. Step deviation. What you have to do is write 0 in the same place as assumed mean. We have written 0 below the assumed mean, and below that frequency we have written 0, and all the higher values we write +1, +2, +3 like that, and all the lower values will be -1, -2, and if there are more, -2, -3, -4. So from 0 you will write just like a number line. It's just like a number line. 0 to the right you will get +1, +2, +3, +4, and to the left you will get -1, -2, -3, -4. The assumed mean, that corresponding value shall be 0. So that is step 3. Mark 0 for the assumed mean in that place. Corresponding to assumed mean, the step deviation is 0, and corresponding to other values, higher values +1, +2, +3, lower values -1, -2, -3, you carry on until the end. So that is a step deviation we have marked. Now step number 4. What we are doing? Now the above table shows what we have already got. Now see the table below. We multiply, see we have marked by dotted circle the frequency and the step deviation. Frequency into step deviation, again you have to make a new field. After making a new field, that is a new row or a new column, multiply, but see that you put the correct sign. Like 2 into -2 is -4. 7 into -1 is -7. And anything into 0 is 0. 10 into +1 is +10. 11 into +2 is +22. So you always see that you write the product with the correct sign. The sign is important. So we multiply. What we multiply? Frequency into step deviation. Frequency was given and the step deviation we put 0 corresponding to assumed mean, and for the higher values +1, +2, +3, for the lower values -1, -2, etc. So now we multiply the frequency into step deviation and we write it with the correct plus or minus sign. That is step 4. Now the next step. Right now what we do? We add the last column, frequency into step deviation, you add, right? So -4, -7, 0, +10, +22, +15. The last field, that is frequency into step deviation, we add. And when we add, we can get either positive or negative. But in this case, we have got +36. In this case, we have got +36. But in some cases, the negative value may be more, the positive sum may be less, so you can get also minus value. But in this case, we have got +36. It can be minus. If you get minus, don't worry, it can be minus. But in this case, we are getting +36. And meanwhile, we are also adding the total frequency as 50. The total frequency 50. And the frequency into step deviation or the weighted step deviation, this sum, the algebraic sum, consider the sign and you get +36. Almost finished. All we have to do is put them in the formula. What are the things we have got? We took the assumed mean as 25. In the beginning, we took the assumed mean as 25. Write down that. Total frequency, when we added the frequency, we got 50. Write that. Weighted deviation sum, that is the product of frequency and step deviation. When you add it, it could be positive or it could be negative. In this case, it was +36. And the class interval 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, the class interval is 10. So write down all the values. Now mean. What is the mean? First write the assumed mean, that is 25. Plus or minus. In case the sum of the weighted deviation sum, it comes to negative, then it will be minus, otherwise it will be plus. So we got plus 36, which is the total we got, the sum of weighted deviation sum, divided by 50, which is the total frequency, multiplied by the class interval. So 25, which is assumed mean, plus the sum of frequency into step deviation, that is 36 divided by 50 and into the class interval, which is 10, and we get 25 plus 7.2 or 32.2 as a final answer. So the required mean is 32.2, and you'll get the same answer even if you have the assumed mean as some other value. So that is a way in which we calculate the assumed mean. Actually, now it is no longer assumed mean. It is a true mean. The assumed mean, we did the correction. How did we do the correction? The total of the weighted deviation sum divided by the total frequency into class interval, and then this correction with 25 the assumed mean, we got 30.2. This is the final answer, 32.2. So this is the way in which we calculate mean by step deviation method.